What a Broncos country, welcome back to the channel. So here to recap the Denver Broncos at the Houston Texans, where the Broncos get the W. And of course, it's another comeback victory. Trailing at the start of the fourth quarter again. The Broncos now are 4-0 when it comes to completing the comeback in the fourth quarter this season. Let's talk about some winners and losers in this one. Winner, obviously, we got to start out with Bo Nix. Well, I should say fourth quarter Bo Nix. We'll talk about the other quarters of Bo Nix later. But it was starting to remind me a little bit of the Jets game when we looked completely dysfunctional on offense. First three quarters, the fourth quarter, they put together a drive that gives them the lead, and, eventually they hold on for the win. But in this one, Bo Nix, we were down 15-7 to start the fourth quarter. Broncos with the ball, under 13 minutes to go, and Bo finds R.J. Harvin. I was even saying, I'm not going to count them out. I was like, they look pretty bad, but they're a fourth quarter team. I mean, this is game time now. Now they pick up the control and they lean forward. They're like, all right, let's go, I don't know how to explain it. I literally made a post, and I said the fourth quarter Broncos need to be studied. Because, hey, I'm very pleased with it, but and I'm okay with them that they keep getting away with it. But it's just crazy, man. Like, they look awful the first three quarters. And then the fourth quarter, they just turn it up. They turn it on. They're like, all right, it's go time now. I don't know, but, hey, another ugly win. But like Bo said in his post-game presser, you got to win the ugly games. The ugly games count, especially down the stretch. So, there's that. And then, he had a clutch 25-yard scramble late there in the fourth quarter that, put the Broncos in field goal range and more. Put Lutz in range and then, helped them even more. So that was a clutch run right there. About 44 seconds left in the fourth. That happened. But, the Broncos, there was a point, I think it was like a minute 21 left, and they had the ball. Unfortunately, had the punt. And I was like, oh, great. I was like, now Texans have a shot to win against us. But, nah, man, that defense made them go 3 and out. Our defense has been so good this year. And shout out to the defense. They did not really lose a beat, in my opinion, without Pat Surtain, which is crazy. I didn't know how they were going to look in this one, but they were awesome. I thought Riley Moss played a really good game, having to step up big in this one. I thought the pass rush was good in this one. I thought they all came together. There was some plays. They had a couple penalties that, they need to be a little more disciplined on, but, ended up not costing them in the end. So, hell of a game by the defense, man. Super proud of them and definitely pleased by what I'm seeing here. And then, gotta shout out Big Nuts Lutz, man. Again, game-winning field goal. Hit one 2 weeks ago, and again, gets his number called, and knocks it right down the middle for the Broncos to win this one, and puts the Broncos 7-2 on the season. 6-game winning streak, which is what could have happened in the Russell Wilson era, and we definitely needed that extra win, and we might have made the playoffs this year. But who knows? If that would happen, we probably would still have Russ right now, and we wouldn't have been blessed with getting Bo freaking Nix. So everything happened for a reason. Very thankful that now is our time to shine. 7-2. We are now a full game ahead of the Chargers and the AFC West. It was just like last week as well, but so that's that. Look at the other things. All right. All right, we pretty much went over everything else. This week, I definitely expect the Broncos to make a trade. I'm not sure who they're going to get. I think it's going to be an offensive weapon, though. I kind of am thinking wide receiver here. We'll see if I'm right. I'm going to go wide receiver. I don't really want to say who I think, but I would like the dude off the Saints. Trying to remember, it's not Chris Olave. It's the other guy. It's Rashid something. I think that's his name. But, yeah, I'd like to get that guy. I mean, that's kind of based off the articles, what I've been reading, that he kind of fits the mold of what the Broncos are missing. He's more of a vertical threat, like a middle field threat is what I'm trying to say. That's what the Broncos need. I mean, they have Courtland Sutton, who is a great 50-50 ball guy. Everybody else is just, rookies and stuff like that, which some games they show up, they show out. But it'd be nice for them to get, a little bit of a seasoned player in there that a little more consistent for you. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't really expect them to make a trade to get anybody on defense, but I do expect them to get a weapon on offense. So I think you have to. I think now you're 7-2 on a 6-game winning streak. You got to put the chips in the middle. You got to go for it. You just never know. So in the position they're in right now, they're tied for the best record in the AFC. You got to go for it. Anyway, let's recap the player stats. So, Bo Nix, hopefully C.J. Stroud's okay. He got hit pretty hard earlier in the game. He went to slide, and then I think it was Chris Abrams' drain, maybe? Went to tackle him. It was a legal hit. I know there's Texan fans that were saying it wasn't a legal hit, but, I mean, he didn't go for the head or anything, but it looked bad because C.J. Stroud, when he got hit, just the impact made his head go back and hit the turf really hard. So it looked really bad. That's, kind of what did it right there. But, Bo Nix, 18 for 37. Oh, man. Yeah, he was rough to watch in the first half. But he had 2 touchdown passes. He did have a pick. Probably should have been picked off twice. There was maybe 1 or 2 throws that should have been picked off, actually. I mean, there was some that he just was trying to thread the needle, and the Texans would drop it. I mean, I wasn't sure on a couple of those decisions he made. He was, I don't know, it looked like he was trying to force it a little too much there. But thankfully, they didn't get those interceptions because who knows. But yeah, Davis Mills came in. He was 17 for 30, 137 passing yards. Dobbins, 61 rushing yards on 15 carries. And Nick Chubb, only 11 carries for 34 yards, so he did a pretty good job containing him. Receiving yards, R.J. Harvey was our leading receiver, oddly enough. That's how you know we had a bad day on offense. He had 5 receptions for 51 yards and a touchdown. And then Dalton Schultz, leading receiver for the Texans, 6 catches, 77 yards. Zach Allen had a sack. Will Anderson had a sack. Let's see, total yards, pretty similar. Broncos had 271 to 268 of the Texans, so only 3 yards more. We had 2 turnovers to Houston's none. 15 first downs apiece, 4 penalties apiece. So the Broncos had 12 more penalty yards. Third downs, Broncos were 6 for 15, Texans 3 of 17. The Texans were 1 for 1 on fourth. Red zone, Broncos 0 for 1, and then Texans 0 for 3. Time of possession, 25-24 for the Broncos and 34-36. So the Texans they had almost a 10-minute advantage of time of possession. But the Broncos still outlast, come back, and win this game. Let's look at some more stats here. Bo Nix was the second leading rusher, 3 carries, 36 yards. That's when he got most of that on that 25-yard scramble. Sutton, he only had a catch for 30 yards. That was on that touchdown catch. Franklin, 4 catches, 27. Troutman, 2 catches, 25. Pat Bryant, 2 catches, 20. And then Michael Bandy, 1 catch for 16 yards. And the only other receiver was Tyler Beatty, 2 catches, 6 yards. Oh, and then Dobbins, 1 catch, -2. But let's talk about Michael Bandier. He got elevated from the practice squad for this one because we didn't have Marvin Mims in this game, and he was going to do the special teams duties, returning and all that stuff. Man, he had a muffed punt. So we got the punt. We were able to probably, I think we could have got the lead to end the half, 10-9. Thankfully, it didn't end up costing us. But in a game like this, who knows? It could have. But yeah, it comes right to him, and it bounces off of his hands and off the ground to his helmet or something like that. Rolls right into a Texan player's arms, who dives on it. And that gave the Texans a field goal. So instead of it being 9-7 at the half, it ended up being 12-7. But thankfully, it didn't end up costing us there. But yeah, a rough turnover there. We had 4 sacks as a team in this one. Cooper had a full sack. DeAndre Tillman and Malcolm Roach both had half a sack. Dre Greenlaw had a sack in this one as well. And then Zach Allen, we talked about him earlier. He had a sack too. That was the 4. But yeah, those were the 2 turnovers, that muff punt and then the interception. Looking at the Texans, they only got 1 sack. That was Will Anderson Jr. Looking at the receiving, Nico Collins, 7 catches, 75 yards. Xavier Hutchinson, 3 catches, 30 yards. Christian Kirk, 4 catches, 26 yards. Everybody else had 4 yards or less and only 1 catch. I'm not going to go over them. Woody Marks, he was another running back that was, kind of doing some damage in the game. Not too much. I felt like he was getting the first downs when they needed him. He had 10 carries, 27 yards. We got Stroud, before he got injured, he was 6 for 10, 79 yards. That's that, man. Let's recap. Hope y'all enjoyed. Broncos 6-game win streak. They got the Raiders coming to town this coming Thursday. It's going to be a short week, so they're going to have to prepare and get ready to take them on. We'll have a preview for that. Ooh, we might have to do that one tomorrow just because it's such a short week. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the vid. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. On that, stay safe, be good. Go Broncos!